The question is Ram, Shyam, and Hari went out for a 100 kilometers journey. Ram and Hari started the journey in Ram's car at the rate of 25 kilometers per hour, while Shyam walked at 5 kilometers per hour. After some time, Hari got off and started walking at the rate of 5 kilometers per hour. Ram went back to pick up Shyam, and all three of them reached their destination simultaneously. The number of hours required for the entire trip was. So let's go and understand the question. So the question says there are three people who are starting their journey at the same time: Ram, Hari, and Shyam. When they start, okay, here our notation is whenever I represent using red color, it is a journey in car. Whenever I am representing in blue color, it is a journey by walk. So walking speed is 5 kilometers per hour and car speed is 25 kilometers per hour. These are given data in the question. Now, in the initial part of the journey, Ram, Hari, and Shyam start the journey together. Ram and Hari keep going in car, whereas Shyam is walking at a speed of 5 kilometers per hour. Ram and Hari are going in car at a speed of 25 kilometers per hour. They are going for some distance. By the time Ram and Hari reach here, at some point here, Hari gets down and Hari starts walking to the destination. But Ram returns back and meets Shyam somewhere here. Shyam, by then he would have walked all the way here. By the time Ram goes, drops Hari and comes back here, Shyam would have walked until this particular part. And Ram picks up Shyam, and Ram and Shyam are going in car. And all these three people, Hari reaches this destination, Ram and Shyam reach in the car in this destination. All three of them reach the destination at the same time. This is the given data. And one more information is given is the entire journey is 100 kilometers. The entire distance is 100 kilometers. These are the given data. From this, how many hours the travel was there for the entire, from the starting moment, and from the starting moment the three of them started the journey until the ending moment for all three of them, what is the time taken in number of hours? So this is the question. Now what we can do is, let's go and assume that this distance is d1 and this distance is d2 and this distance is d3. The moment we understand what is the relationship between these three distances, we'll be able to solve the problem and get an answer. Now let us compare the scenario from Ram starting here until he comes here and Shyam starting here and comes here. Ram starts here, goes, drops Hari and comes here. Shyam starts here and goes here. So for both Ram and Shyam, compare Ram and Shyam. So you compare Ram and Shyam, their starting time is same, and Ram comes here and Shyam comes here, their meeting time is same. So may I go and say that the time component for Ram to come here and Shyam to come here is same? Yes. So when time is equal to constant, what we can go and say is the speeds and distance are directly proportional to each other. So speed of Ram by speed of Shyam will be equals to distance travelled by Ram and distance travelled by Shyam. And we know in this particular journey, Ram was completely travelling in red color, which is 25 kilometers per hour, and Shyam was completely travelling by walk, which is 5 kilometers per hour. So the speed ratio is 25 kilometers per hour by 5 kilometers per hour. That is going to be the distance ratio of Ram and distance ratio distance of Shyam. What is the distance travelled by Ram? Which is d1 initially and then another d2. So basically Ram would have travelled d1, d2 and one more d2. So d1 plus d2 plus d2 divided by what is the distance travelled by Shyam. Shyam has just travelled this particular part, so which is nothing but just a distance d1. So what we have here is, this is 5 equals d by d1 plus 2d2 by d1. So this is just 1, take that 1 to the other side, so 4 is equal to 2d2 by d1. Therefore what we can say is d2 by d1 is nothing but 2:1. Remember this. Let's come back to one more comparison, very similar to Ram and Shyam, the way we compared. Now we are going to compare Ram and Hari, but the time duration is between this point and this point is what we are going to compare. From this point, what did Hari do? Hari was walking here. From this point, what did Ram do? Ram went here and he came back here. So I am going ahead and saying that Hari and Ram were at this point together and at this point together. So between these journeys, Hari and Ram had same time interval. Within the same time interval, Hari walked this and Ram went in car and reached here. So let's compare Hari and Ram, and for these two people, for this part of the journey, time is constant. How is time constant? Because Ram and Hari were together here. That is when Hari started walking, Ram started going in car, and then they met at the destination at the same time given data. So their starting time is same, ending time is same. Therefore, we can go ahead and say that the time duration for Ram to cover this and time duration for Hari to walk this are same. When time is constant, speed and distance are directly proportional. So speed of Ram by speed of Hari equals to distance of Ram by distance of Hari. So what we can tell is speed of Ram was continuously traveling in car only, and for this part of the journey Hari was continuously traveling by walk only. So 25 by 5 equals to how much distance did Ram travel? Ram traveled d2, d2 and then a d3. So Ram traveled d2 plus d2 plus d3 by what? How much did Hari travel? Hari was just traveling this journey, which is d3. So d3. So 5 equals 2 d2 by d3 plus d3 by d3, and this is 1, bring to the other side. So what I'll get is 4 equals to 2 d2 by d3. Therefore what we can tell is d2 by d3 is also equal to 2:1. So from this what we can go ahead and conclude is d2 is 2 times d1, d2 is 2 times d3. Therefore d1 is to d2 is to d3 will be d2 is 2 times d1, so it is 1:2 ratio, and d3 is also 2 times d2 is 2 times d3, so this is also 1:2:3 ratio. So what we can go ahead and conclude this is 1 units of distance, this is 2x units of distance, and this is x units of distance. Or in other words, the 100 I'm splitting into, this is 25 kilometers, this second part is 50 kilometers, and third part is 25 kilometers. That is how this 50:25 also 2:1 ratio. This 50:25 is also 2:1 ratio. 25 plus 50 plus 25 you add, and what you will get is 100 kilometers. All the conditions are satisfied. Now what is the time taken? Okay, let's focus on any of the people. Let's focus on Ram, for example. Ram traveled how much distance? Ram initially traveled 25 kilometers, and then 50, and then 50, and then 50, and then 25. So he has traveled 25 plus 25, 50, 50 plus 50 plus 50 is 200. So Ram traveled 200 kilometers at a speed of 25 kilometers per hour, and therefore would have taken 8 hours for the entire journey. The same thing you can do for Shyam also. Shyam traveled 25 kilometers at a speed of 5 kilometers per hour. So he would have taken 5 hours here, and the remaining 75 kilometers, 50 plus 25, 75 kilometers, he has traveled at the speed of car. He was going in car. So the speed here is 75 kilometers by 25 kilometers per hour, which is equal to 3 hours. So this part is 3 hours, this part is 5 hours, so totally 8 hours. So you can take any one person and you can see that the time taken for them is 8 hours. You can take Ram, his time taken also will be 8 hours. You can take Shyam, his time taken also will be 8 hours. You can take Hari, and his time taken also will be 8 hours. And anyway, the number of hours for the entire trip is 8 hours.